Hi everyone, I'm Shaquille Kondasamy, and today I'll be presenting my EDN 329 assignment part B, Mathematics program, which focuses on modeling and representing fractions plus their multiples to complete a whole. This is particularly focusing on the year level, year 3. The context of this mathematical program is the classroom has 11 boys and 13 girls with a total of 24 students. A diagnostic assessment was implemented at the beginning of the mathematical program. This identified 4 students who would benefit from the program. The diagnostic assessment required students to match fractions to pictures, identify the denominator and numerator, represent fractions on a number line, and order fractions smallest to largest. Particularly focusing on the curriculum strand ACMNA 058, model and represent unit fractions including a half, quarter, third, and a fifth, and their multiples to complete a whole, which is derived from the SCISA curriculum. The data analysis showed that the students who are appropriate for the program struggled with identifying numerators and denominators on a fraction, struggled with representing a fraction on a number line, struggled with representing a common fractions and their multiples to complete a whole. Students struggled to recognize common fractions, e.g. halves, thirds, and quarters. Purpose of the program. The lessons are tailored to assist the 4 students who display a lack of understanding in modeling, representing unit fractions, and their multiples to complete a whole. This will ensure that they are achieving the curriculum strand standards after completing the program. The content elaborations of fractions and decimals. They detail for the curriculum code to be achieved. 1. Students will have to partition areas, lengths, and collections to develop halves, thirds, quarters, and fifths. Students to locate fractions on a number line. Students to understand the mathematical language of a numerator and denominator. Of the program. Students will show an understanding of the following areas once the program is complete. Use of mathematical language of fractions, e.g. whole, half, thirds, and quarters. Ability to identify the numerator and denominator in a fraction. Represent common fractions using diagrams and pictures. Partition objects into halves, thirds, quarters, and fifths, and locate fractions on a number line. At this mathematical program, I have connections to the curriculum via the First Steps book in mathematics. In the First Steps books and under the number book 1, it states, understand fractional numbers, contains a list of key understandings that the students will achieve when learning the fractions and developing future skills. So, when tailoring the 10 lessons, I referred to First Steps, and I could see that key understandings 1, 2, 3, and 4 were applicable to the Year 3 curriculum code. They also align with the general capabilities. The program aligns with general capability of numeracy in detail using fractions to ensure students develop an understanding of meaning, fractions, and how they can be applied to real-life situations. And the key understandings 1 states when we split something into 2 equal-sized parts. It states when we halve it and that each part of it is half the original thing. So essentially when you have a whole, you halve it, you have 2 equal parts. Key understanding 2, when we partition objects and collections into 2 or more equal sized parts, and the partitioning can be done in different ways. Key understanding 3, we use fraction words and symbols to describe parts of a whole. The whole can be an object, a collection, or a quantity. The same fraction quantity can be represented with a lot of different fractions. We say fractions are equivalent when they represent the same number or quantity. For an example, 2 quarters is the same as a half, which will be taught to the students. Strategies and assessments that are found within this program. Gradual release model of responsibility, I do, we do, you do, is displayed throughout the program to target the fraction needs of the students. This approach allows for the educator to cater for the students' learning to be taken back to the foundation, whilst giving them the opportunity to continue to build on their current knowledge. 2, diagnostic assessment, a progressive achievement in mathematics that allows for educators to assess students across levels of targeted area. It will identify the peers performing at a lower level, thus providing the 4 students struggling. Formative assessment, anecdotal notes on students' learning throughout each lesson. Higher order thinking, questioning will be occurring to gauge students' understanding. Summative assessment. The summative assessment has been developed and tailored towards the end of the program to judge if students have achieved the efficient proficiency strand. This will identify to the educator on what to plan for the future lessons. Self-assessment. I put self-assessment strategies in each lesson. This is incorporated. This allows students to check their ability to understand fractions that is being taught to them. So if the student still doesn't understand what's been taught, they can hand the teacher the red light, so the teacher is aware that they'll have to expand on it within the next lesson. If the student's unsure but they're kind of grasping the concept, they hand the yellow light. And if the student is aware of the concept and they've grasped it, they use the green light to the teacher. The pedagogies that are found within this program included small homogeneous groups, scaffolding with demonstrating, modeling, a use of visual representation, repetition of process, and educator provide multiple ways to show understanding. The mathematical program structure states for lesson 1, it's 40 minutes of diagnostic tasks, the whole group. From lessons 2 to 9, they're 20-minute lessons. They include revise previous year group content, a fraction wall, a lesson that focuses on wholes, halves, thirds, quarters, 2 lessons on number lines, lesson 9 to revise before our summative assessment in lesson 10. Summary. For students to learn fractions, they need to understand that it can be broken down into parts. It can be partitioned and connected to decimals, which is next year's previous content descriptor. A range of pedagogies and strategies were used in this mathematical program to further develop and upscale the students that were lagging with limited understanding of content. Thank you for listening to my presentation.